A news report on the Korean plastic surgery trend opens the first scene. The news reports that a large number of Asians are traveling to Korea for cosmetic surgery. The next scene introduces us to Sarah, a stunning girl who is now traveling back to Korea from overseas. When she enters a mall, everyone seems to be in awe of her attractiveness. Everywhere they go, they follow her. Shortly after Sarah walks into a changing room to check on some new clothing, she goes to get a glance of her, but one man follows her in. When she spots him, she dashes outside to report him to security. Sarah watches a TV program where obese females fight to earn a shot at cosmetic surgery beauty, with the prize being the ability to be pretty. The TV drama tells the tale of Jim Ran, a large girl whose life seems hard because of her weight. She can't manage her own body and doesn't feel welcomed by her in-laws or society. They don't live together since her spouse, Kang Jun, has been employed abroad for the last 7 years. Jim Ran constantly makes an effort not to let other people's behavior bother her. When Sarah sees this, she recognizes Jim Ran and feels sad for her. After returning home, Sarah changes the lock's passcode in the next scene to ward off the stalkers. She then watches Jim Ran's program on TV while lounging on the sofa. She is unhappy when she finds out that Jim Ran lost the competition, so she phones the producer of the TV program to find out how they can get rid of Jim Ran. Sarah is surprised when the producer reveals that Jim Ran was the one who quit the show. Elsewhere, we see Jim Ran, who learns that her husband has already arrived in Seoul and is currently staying at a hotel. Alarmed, she goes to the same hotel, but there's no one in the room. Just then, she hears her husband arrive with another girl, so she hides inside a closet soon after Jim Ran discovers that her husband is cheating on her with another woman named Gyo Chae-yoon. This breaks Jim Ran's heart, causing her to sob quietly. Later, she sits with Chae-yoon and requests that she end everything with her husband. She explains that Chae-yoon is pretty and can find anyone. But in her case, Kang Jun is all she has. However, Chae-yoon claims that a lot has changed in the past 7 years. Kang Jun is now the president of HBS Company, so Jim Ran doesn't suit him. Saying this, she's about to leave when Jim Ran holds her back during the process. Chae-yoon falls to the ground, breaking her ankle. She is immediately taken to a hospital, whereas Jim Ran is apprehended for assault. At the same time, Kang Jun arrives and saves Garan from the police, making her happy. However, he claims that it's the last time he'll do anything as her husband. After giving her the wedding ring, he turns to go. Jim got home and found out that both her sisters-in-law and mother-in-law knew about Kang Jun's presence and his extramarital affair. When she asks why they didn't tell her, her mother-in-law says she's not sophisticated enough for Kang Jun. She becomes enraged by this and starts to cry in agony, while Sarah, who is reading Jim Ran's narrative on her laptop, is crying. Shortly thereafter, her aide hands her a message asking her to the church to find out more about Jim Ran. Sarah arrives and encounters a lady who tells her that Gandhi killed himself because he was hopeless and despondent. The same person from the changing room knocks Sarah unconscious from behind and drives her away as she begins to leave the chapel. She eventually regains consciousness, and she ran away when the vehicle stopped in traffic. The guy finally catches up to her after a protracted pursuit, but Sarah breaks his arm with an arm hold. The man calls her Jim Ran and gives up right away. When he hears this, Sarah lets off of him, and he reveals that Sarah is really Jim Ran. The guy goes on to say that Jim Ran met with a car accident, but she was able to survive. She returned home only to discover that her family had already declared her dead. As a result, she went to the plastic surgeon named Tae-hee, who happens to be the same changing room guy. She pleaded with him to make her beautiful, claiming she wanted her revenge. So he operated on her from head to toe, transforming her into the most beautiful person. Furthermore, he informs her that she's suffering from delirium, due to which she has no recollection of her past. He also reveals that he'd been following her to administer delirium medication, but she kept throwing him away. At last, he claims that the house she's been living in is his property hearing. This Sarah apologizes for causing him trouble and invites him to dinner. However, Tae-hee wants the compensation, so he forwards her a contract stating that she must do whatever he says, to which she agrees. Following this, he inquires about her plan to exact vengeance on her husband. It doesn't seem like Sarah has any plans. Tae then helps her. They make the decision to ruin Kang-joon after forcing him to fall madly in love with her. Tae then drives her to the gym so she can shed the extra fat. In order to develop her into a beautiful but intelligent woman, he also requires her to study a variety of books on philosophy, politics, economics, and other subjects. Sarah's heart breaks again when she reads in the news one day at the gym that Kang-joon is getting married to Chae-yoon in 3 weeks. After that, she goes to Kang-joon's home and lets herself cry outdoors. When Sarah gets home in the evening, she finds a photo of Tae-hee and Chae-yoon. She approaches Tae-hee and asks for the truth. The latter responds that Kang-joon snatched Chae-yoon away, despite the fact that she was his infatuation. This helps Sarah understand why he's helping her with her retaliation scheme. Moreover, he discloses that his brother, rather than him, is the surgeon who operated on her. Now, Sarah and Tae-hee have the same objective: to dissolve the union between Kang-joon and Chae-yoon. Soon after, Tae-hee makes arrangements to go to a VIP party, and it is at the party that she allows Sarah to approach Kang-joon. Sarah does what Tae-hee says and makes an unsuccessful effort to woo Kenjin. They thus make the decision to go with Plan B, which involves giving a sizable donation to the HBS Corporation in exchange for Kang-joon's approval. Sarah tells him that she doesn't have enough money, but Tae-hee assures her not to worry since they would contribute the money and that he is the heir of Winter Company, which just purchased HBS. Sarah has hiccups when she sees Kang-joon, who is approaching her to thank her for the contribution. Consequently, when Chae-yoon approaches them and brings Kang-joon along, she feels ashamed and finds it difficult to flirt with him, which makes Sarah depressed when she gets home. Sarah is yelled at by Tae-hee for wasting such a great chance. He also warns her that getting between Kang-joon and Chae-yoon would be challenging since they are getting married soon and their love has to be at its best. He goes on to add that she lost her spouse as a result of her excessive softness. Then he wonders whether Kang-joon will ever be alone himself. In response, Sarah says that Kang-joon used to go fishing by himself every Wednesday, and she hopes he still does. Sarah goes fishing on Wednesday as well, and Kang-joon spots her. Then he comes up to her and attempts to give her a fishing lesson. While Tae-hee, who is seeing them from a distance, is happy that their plan is succeeding, Sarah observes and asks about her grandmother-in-law's jewelry. In response, Kang-joon says that it belonged to his grandma, who died a month ago. Sarah remembers all the fun days she had with her grandmother-in-law, the one person who ever treated her well, when she hears this. She stumbles and unintentionally tosses the bracelet into the river, however, which makes her chase for it. Soon after Sarah and Kang-joon begin talking, Tae-hee notices this and is upset, thinking that she's endangering their goal when Kang-joon asks her why she plunged into the lake. After some small talk, Sarah replies that she too had a grandma who was extremely precious to her. She seems like a lovely person to Kang-joon, who asks if they might meet again. Once again, Tae-hee is thrilled to see them both grinning at each other. After completing the first phase of their plan successfully, Sarah and Tae-hee rejoice when they go back home in the next scene. They then come up with another scheme in which Tae gives her the order to confront Kang-joon in public and engage in some physical interaction to stir up controversy. Sarah doesn't seem to be happy with the idea, however. When questioned, she acknowledges that while she still loves her husband and longs to be his wife once again, she no longer wants to exact revenge on him. When Tae-hee hears this, he becomes furious and thinks that his efforts will be in vain. Tae-hee becomes anxious when he receives a call at that moment from his brother Ji-hoon, telling him that he has returned from overseas. He makes it clear right once that this is not his house by requesting that Sarah Packer's possessions be returned. They then move together to a location close to Kang Jun's home. The next day, as Kang Jun's parents are performing in a charity show, their pianist coughs, interfering with the performance. However, at that very moment, Sarah steps in to replace the pianist, playing with elegance and stunning everyone in attendance. Parents of Kang Jun express gratitude to her for sparing their performance that night. After Sarah makes a rice cake, she offers it to Kang Jun's family, who are thereafter happy. The parents of Kang Jun discussed Sarah and thought about using her for upcoming performances. The sisters of King Jun are also taken aback by Sarah's flawless physical appearance. Kang Jun extends an invitation for Sarah to see him after learning that she has moved close by. He chooses to ignore a call from Chae-yoon that arrives at that same moment. When Kang Jun sees Sarah at a park in the subsequent scene, he confesses that he likes having her around. As they converse, Chae-yoon notices them and is jealous. Tae, watching from a distance as well, sees it all. When they arrive back home, Tae-hee tells Sarah that Chae-yoon saw them together, but she'll act like nothing happened in order to win back Kang Jun's affections. When Sarah hears this, she begs him for a larger loan so she may dress more elegantly for her date with Kang Jun. She is reminded of the money she owes by Tae. She makes the decision to sell her wedding ring the next day in order to pay for the acquisition of a new wardrobe. Tae proposes that she have a one-night stand with Kang Jun while they're out trying to sell the ring. Sarah gets excited by this and tells him about it loudly that evening, humiliating him. Sarah says, "Hey, can you help me stretch?" As she does several yoga positions, she progressively turns him on when he does. He hurries to his room, wondering what's wrong with him, after trying his utmost to contain himself but failing miserably. Reminding himself not to fall in love with her the following day is his attempt at solace. After preparing dinner, Sarah puts it outside her family's home. She regrets allowing her mother to suffer, but she has made the decision to only go see her when Kang Jun remarries. Sarah goes out to dinner later that night with Kang Jun, who suddenly seems to be interested in her and introverted. Tae enters with special preparations and encourages them to kiss as part of the plan. Sarah gives Kang Jun a kiss and is ecstatic when he obliges. They go into a hotel room after 7 hard years and are set to have a private moment. When Kang Jun pauses, he says he wants to appreciate her before leaving, therefore he needs more time to think about it. He wants to see her once more. The Winter Firm chairman, Mr. Han, and Kang Jun get into a fight the next day. He's on his way back when Chae shows up to pick him up, and she asks him to choose the wedding meal. King Jun informs her that he has a crucial meeting tonight, so she should postpone the plans. She admits that she saw him with Sarah before since she thinks they would cross paths again. Frustrated by her lack of, Kang Jun calls a quick meeting with Sarah. Chae-yoon tells her how Jim Ran terminated her life and introduces her when they first meet. Additionally, she wishes for Sarah to avoid Kang Jun so that she does not become like Yumran. Chae-yoon gets a call from Ji-hoon as soon as she leaves, inviting her to his house. After that, Ji-hoon contacts his brother Tae, bringing him and Chae-yoon back together after a lengthy separation. Tae is confused to see Chae-yoon and Kang Jun when he gets to his brother's house. He does, however, shake hands with Kang Jun while being kindly. After that, Tae says Kang Jun is a two-timer when she meets Sarah at the park. Sarah also tells him how Chae-yoon previously boasted to her they have an argument in support of their lovers, but they soon realize that they must work together to accomplish their mission. As a result, they plan her date with Kang Jun and head out on their way. They come across the same road where Jeomran had her accident, which makes her scared because of this. Kang Jun pulls over and asks if she has any bad memories of it when Sarah confirms it. He advises her not to avoid the incident and to confront it head-on, which will help her trauma fade away. Then they proceed to a hotel room where Sarah remains terrified, remembering the past incident. She also wonders why people assumed it was a suicide rather than an accident. Suddenly, she realizes that Chae-yoon was the one who spread the suicide rumors when Kang-ju notices her deteriorating health. He walks out to buy her medications. A while later, he returns to the hotel with a medication, only to discover that Sarah has already left. He tries to call her several times but is unable to reach her. Meanwhile, Sarah attends a charity event where Kang-jun's parents are volunteers. She assists them with volunteering just as she used to do in the past, as Jim ran later when Kang-jun's father brings up June Run. Sarah questions him as to why everyone assumed it was a suicide rather than an accident. He then reveals that Jim Rand left a suicide note, causing Sarah to be shocked. After this, she rushes to meet with Tae-hee and informs him that someone is behind her death because she never wrote a suicide note.